Lars Ulrich.
Good evening. I am Lars Ulrich, and I am. That's right. And I am seriously fucking honored to be here. For Christmas, my middle son gave me this coat, and seriously, I literally just took the tag off it backstage. The color, I kid you not, says deep purple. Seriously. Can you guys pass this around so you can see I'm not making it up? Anyway, I'm gonna go off this one instead of that one, just in case. I love you too. This night is a culmination of two musical journeys. One is mine, the other is that of the band that changed my life and rock and roll. When I was 9 years old, my dad took me to see Deep Purple in Copenhagen, Denmark, on a dark, cold Saturday night in February 1973. Everything was larger than life. The sound, the spectacle, the songs, the musicians, all doing things with their instruments that I'd never seen before and didn't even know were possible. Deep Purple were a beautiful contradiction. Like you had just walked in on 5 musicians at the top of their game, jamming one classic after another with raw intensity as if they were in a garage playing for no one but themselves, yet at the same time projecting a 1,000-yard deep stare into the bowels of the arena. Yeah, that's right, bowels, he said bowels. Let me break this down for you. Singer Ian Gillan, where are you, Ian? Right there.
Booyah!
God, you guys look awesome. Singer Ian Gillan, center stage, a magnet for the eyes, personifying every trait of epic frontman coolness, screaming his lungs out and reaching notes so high, I'm sure he was breaking glass all over town. Behind him on the drums, little Ian Pace, a rock and roll cocktail of hair, sweat, spit, and precision, somehow managing to wipe the steam off his glasses as he pressed this freight train forward, and doing it in 8-inch platform heels. Very impressive, Ian. Very impressive. At stage right, the regal John Lord. I'd never seen him, that's right. We love John Lord. I had never seen anyone get so physical with his organ. But I was only 9. He did things with the Hammond C3 that no one had ever done before, firing the results through a wall of Marshall amps and Leslie speakers, uniquely heavying up the sound into uncharted territory. Let me emphasize this, John Lord was the first to truly amplify and distort the Hammond organ. Sadly, we lost him in 2012. Bassist Roger Glover, cowboy hat, paisley shirt, next level smoothness, the one keeping it grounded, groovy, and dare I say, sexy. His eagle-less stage presence supported the crossfire energies of his bandmates, disguising a firm vitality as both songwriter and co-producer of the biggest records. And then there was Richie fucking Blackmore. What he did with the guitar did not seem feasible. He played it straight, he played it sideways, upside down and all around. His fingers, hands, arms in a constant ballet of movement and unpredictable motion. The sounds, the screeches, the pitch slides, grinding against the speakers, playing it with his ass, his boots, throwing it in the air, all the time projecting a peculiar mix of showmanship, control, and aloofness. It was like Blackmore was showing off, but mostly for himself, hovering on the edge of electric narcissism. At the same time, he was so beyond cool, it was just impossible to look away. These guys could play, that's right. is the advantage of being first. These guys could play, they could improvise, they were in constant and curious cutthroat competition with each other to take the music someplace new, someplace unknown, and never ever the same place twice. Fast forward 12 hours later to the local mom and pop record store where I requested Anything and Everything by Deep Purple and was promptly handed the Fireball album. My life had officially changed forever. With almost no exceptions, every hard rock band of the last 40 years, including mine, traces its lineage back directly to Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and Deep Purple. That's right. And as far as I'm concerned, these three bands should always be considered equals for their songwriting, their recordings, and their accomplishments. Where I grew up, and in the rest of the world outside of North America, all were equal in stature and influence. So in my heart, and I know I speak for many of my fellow musicians and millions of Purple fans, I confess that I am somewhat bewildered that they are so late in getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Decades after the mighty Sabbath and the brilliant Zeppelin. This is, of course, no disrespect to those bands or the Rock Hall. I just have to make clear that Deep Purple are as revered everywhere else in the world. And with the rest of the world applauding, Deep Purple became big the old-fashioned way. They worked hard. Constant touring, making an album a year, sometimes two, never giving a shit about image or critical acclaim. And in the golden age of rock and roll debauchery, they were known primarily for their music. In the sex and drug sense, they were reportedly gentlemen through and through. In fact, if you must dig, the main dirt on Deep Purple was the revolving door of personnel. 10 different band members in the first 7 years, 14 in total. Let me, of course, give a well-deserved shout-out to everyone else who has played a part in this story, including the 3 other inductees tonight. I saw 2 of them in their live debuts when Deep Purple came back to Copenhagen in December 1973, right? Singer David Coverdale, who blew me away with his unique bluesy pipes and the quirky mic stand. What the hell was that about? What was that about? And bassist Glenn Hughes, white satin suit, way cool rocker hair to go with his R&B influenced vocals. And last, but actually first, original singer Rod Evans, who was the voice of the formative Purple in the late 1960s and on the first hit single, Hush. Don't be shy. So from the 8 inductees tonight to the 14 band members who have played in this band, it's obvious that great music often comes from tension, and what great music it was. The albums, just to name a few: The Book of Taliesin, In Rock, Fireball, Machine Head, Burn, Stormbringer. And with phenomenal songs, just to name a few: Wring That Neck, Black Knight, Speed King, Child in Time, Strange Kind of Woman, Highway Star, Woman from Tokyo, Mistreated, the list goes on. You know, one total mindfuck is the difference between the studio and the live versions. If you take Space Truckin', for instance, on Machine Head it clocks in at just around 4 minutes. On the legendary album made in Japan, it's almost 20 minutes long. What happened to that era? The solos, the jamming, the impulsive force in every Deep Purple performance are the reason Wikipedia lists 42 official live albums I kid you not. Because they were that good, that different, and that inspired every night. And they still are. Damn right they still are. But wait, there's one more song, right? The one everybody knows about Frank Zappa and a burning casino on a Swiss lake, fires up in the sky, something, right? The one featuring perhaps the most classic guitar riff of all time, the first thing anybody learns on a guitar, the riff that has actually been banned from being played in music stores to preserve the sanity of the staff. Once again, an absolute truth. The riff that even I, the most illiterate guitar player in the known universe, can actually play. Thank you. You know the title, Smoke on the Water. Well, come on, man. That's right. It's the signature hit and the biggest single. And so huge that Deep Purple may have been mistaken for a one-hit wonder. But if that's all you know, even to this day, think of it as a big, heavy door into a legacy without end. One that remains as vital as ever in its latest incarnation, touring the world, blowing minds, and still changing lives. There's a picture on the nightstand next to my bed. Once again, I kid you not, given to me long ago by my buddy Frank. It's a photo of Deep Purple with my face photoshopped on top of Ian Pace. Sorry, Ian. It was a present. That's how much Deep Purple still means to me, to the fans here tonight, and to the millions of followers. That's right. To the fans here tonight and to the millions of followers around the world who look upon Deep Purple as epic, unpredictable, energetic, cool, intense, brilliant, impulsive, spontaneous, mesmerizing, jaw-dropping, otherworldly, relentless, pioneering, and ultimately timeless. Richie Blackmore, David Coverdale, Rod Evans, Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, Glenn Hughes, John Lord, Ian Pace. They should have been here a long time ago. They are now here where they belong.